and let's get started with the session then. Okay, I think thank you very much, guys. I can get a lot of confirmation. So what I will do is will go through the presentation and simultaneously, if you guys have any doubts, any question, I'll try to take some of the queries and question in between. Okay. So first we'll start with my formal introduction, first agenda, then my introduction, and we'll get into the things. Okay. So I think everyone knows today's topic. So today we're going to speak about the Gen AI. Let me go through the agenda once again, and then I will come back to my quick introduction, or let's start with my K2 introduction. This is who I am. Guys, I am Vikas Narune. I have around 14 years of experience, out of which 12 years I have worked in a corporate, mostly into customer sales analytics, supply chain, healthcare domain, and into the media and streaming company. Currently, I am working with an US-based company, consulting for the data science, especially in the GenAI projects. Okay. Hope this introduction is good for us. So what about the topic? Okay, let's try to understand what all things we're going to cover today. So first of all, we'll try to understand what is artificial intelligence. Very will not waste time. Everyone as of now already aware like what is AI. So but in the AI, we'll try to understand, and we'll start with a very beautiful quote quoted by the Sundar Pichai and Alvin Toffler. And then we'll try to understand like what are the different categories of AI based on their functionalities. All right. So what is the difference between the traditional AI, traditional ML, AI, data science, and what the entire buzz is all about the generative AI. So in order to understand generative AI, talk about the different capabilities like narrow AI, AGI, and generative AI. We'll try to understand the bifurcation difference between them. And then once we are aware like what is Gen AI, what are its capabilities, and what are how the Gen AI is reshaping the industry. Okay. So once we understand that, I'll try to showcase you a couple of tools. Okay. So what are the GenAI tools as per their capabilities? What are top 10 tools? What are their capabilities as per the capabilities? We'll try to look into them. And then I will, once we are able to understand what is AI, what is generative AI, what is the use cases, what is the implication, how GenAI is different from the traditional AI, how it is impacting the industry. We'll take a couple of examples. We'll try to understand also certain limitation and biasness around the AI as well. All right. And once we are able to understand, we'll deep dive into one of the Chat-GPT topic, one of the tool for the GenAI, and we'll try to run some prompts. Okay. So the agenda will be to run some prompts and try to understand how using the prompts we can enhance our productivity, how GenAI is working. We'll try to see a couple of examples like by using the correct way of prompt, what is prompt engineering, what is LLM. We'll give a short view of it. And then, guys, obviously the most awaited thing that we'll try to understand what is the roadmap in order to become a GenAI expert. Okay. So what is the roadmap? What is the career path? What is the career path look like? And what are the things you should be knowing from the basic to the upper side so you can land up a job as a GenAI and what are the other jobs present. All right. Oh, cool. So everyone is aware like what is agenda. So quickly one more time, guys, give me confirmation. Some thumbs up will also do, and then we can start the things with the very beautiful quote. All right. Okay. Vigash, thank you. Latika, man, thank you. Dinesh, Shailesh, thank you, guys. All right, guys. Thanks for the confirmation. Let's get started then without wasting our time because we have a limited time and I wanted to showcase you also the tools and other architecture as well. Okay. All right, guys. So let's get started with our okay. Yeah. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. You guys are really awesome. Thanks for the such a wonderful interaction. Okay. So let's get started, guys. Okay, thank you, Pramod, and thank you, everyone. So let's get started, guys. We'll start with the two beautiful quotes out here. Okay. So the one quote is given by Mr. Sundar Pichai, and the another one will be from the Alvin Toffler. So let's start with the quote from the Sundar Pichai, CEO of the Google and Alphabet. Okay. So what exactly the definition of the AI? AI is something we already know. Yeah, right. So AI is like making the machines intelligent, inculcating the artificially intelligence into the machine, right? So this already knows. We'll try to make a simple definition as well. And prior to that, let's try to understand that what exactly is the quote given by Sundar Pichai. Sundar Pichai sir says that AI will have a major or profound impact on the society, right? So when the first time internet was discovered, right? Internet was discovered, and then the entire life of the human being or entire technology has been completely upside down, and there were major changes which industry went through, right? Just like that, the discovery of the internet, electricity, and fire, the AI will also have a major impact on the entire humanity, right? So this is what we already started to experience, right? The way we guys are using the smartwatches, way you guys are using the social media, way you guys are using all the devices, let it be smart devices, social media, let it be banking, let it be a retail, right? Online shopping, everywhere. Like you go, even for the education sector, everywhere the AI is present, right? So we'll talk about these things. So the AI is gonna make the profound impact, just like the electricity, internet, and fire, right? And let's start with the very famous quote by the Alvin Toffler. I modified it a bit, so that's for sure. I modified that a bit. So, but I hope end of this quote you will also agree with me, like what exactly I'm trying to say out here, right? So I have modified it bit, guys. But what is the original definition given by the Alvin Toffler? For that case, Alvin Toffler is a famous author, futurist, and one of the renowned management gurus, right? So what he made a definition of the illiterate. So who will be called as illiterate, right? So he said that the person who cannot read, write will not be called as illiterate. The person who cannot learn, okay, who cannot learn, unlearn, okay, learn, unlearn, and relearn the things, he will be one who will called as illiterate of the 21st century. This is what the famous quote. But I about bit modified, guys, because looking at the trend and looking at the industry and looking the way AI is making a profound impact on entire humanity. So I modified it, and now we can say that the illiterate of the next century, maybe 22nd decade, right? 22nd century will be the one who cannot learn AI, right? Especially the Gen AI, okay? Especially the Gen AI, who cannot learn AI, unlearn it, and relearn it. Why learn, unlearn, and relearn? Because every day you guys are know that every day, in weeks time, in months time, the various research papers are published, right? Various models are coming. And now, if you have heard, GPT, OpenAI has come up with a new model which is called a GPT 4.0, right? So recently, in this week only, they have released this model. So right, they have started various model, couple of model, right? So then Llama 3 was also introduced, right? And then I have heard that Microsoft is also planning to launch one a good model, which is around 100 billion parameters model, which will be competing to all these models, right? Let it be a Claude, Gemini, Llama 3, Mistral, all of them. They are going to bring as a surprise, and they are going to make it as an open source. So what is the takeaway? What is the takeaway? That you in when you try to enter into the entire arena of the AI, you just it is not like one time in the education we are learning everything and it will be constant, right? No, it's not going to be there, right? So it will always be a constant change which will be happening. There are a lot of innovation, a lot of research paper, a lot of things are coming up, right? Every day the industry changing, adopting new model, new technology. That's the reason. So I hope end of this quote, everyone will agree that the illiterate, and that is why if you see the rush in the market, every company wants to start an AI company, especially they want to hire the Gen AI expert in their company, right? So previously they were hiring only data scientists, ML engineer, and everyone talks about the Gen AI. Whenever I go through the job description, whenever we try to look at these things, right? Everyone wants to understand or want to hire a person who is a well versed with the Gen AI topics, right? So all the projects now majorly focused on the Gen AI. That's the reason you have to learn, unlearn, and relearn it. Hope everyone agrees to this topic. And then why I'm saying, because if you look at the all the sectors, I purposefully put in these things, right? So all the sectors, guys, whatever it may be, let it be insurance, event, cyber security, let it be a defense, social networking, real estate, even the agriculture, right? Everywhere the AI is present nowadays. True, right? I hope everyone is agreeing to my quote, right? So don't quote me, but this is gonna be true, guys. So this is gonna be very true, right? So that's the reason. So we are arranging this session, and I'm asking you guys that don't get left behind in this rush, because one who cannot learn Gen AI, especially AI, will be called as illiterate of the upcoming centuries. And we'll talk about whether all the jobs will be taken by AI or not, right? It will not be taken, but it will be AI enabled job. That's the reason I'm writing this slide here, right? You just take the example that politics and government. Nowadays, we have seen that this month also you might guys have casted your votes, right? There is a prime minister election, right? Lok Sabha elections are going on. Even the our esteemed Prime Minister Narendra Modi, he's using most of the AI techniques, right, for his political campaigns. People are using how they are using whatever the speech Mr. Narendra Modi is delivering. They are trying to convert that speech from speech to language translation by using the AI into different languages, different regional languages, and they are broadcasting it. Let it be AI. They are using AI for the political campaign, for the data analysis, right? To understand the segmentation, sectorization of the entire population, how the population is spread across what category of this there, and they are entirely analyzing this data using the AI algorithm to understand their vote bank, to understand their impact, how they can make an impact, right? So everything will be AI enabled. So let's move ahead, guys. I hope everyone agree to this one. Let's move ahead then and try to formally understand what is AI, what is Gen AI then, okay? So guys, AI, everyone already knows that AI is nothing but we're trying to make the machines intelligent, right? So, or you can say it's an effort. AI is an effort to mimic, I would say mimic the human brain functionality, right? Human brain functionality by using or by mimicking the neural networks, right? The neural networks, right? The biological neural network, they made the exact copy and they created something called as artificial neural network, right? Let it be artificial neural network or let it be some other traditional ML algorithm. All of them are efforts in order to make the human capabilities, mimic the human capabilities. So there's intelligence means what exactly? Intelligence means we are able to think, we are able to analyze the things, right? Sorry for my handwriting, analyze and make the informed decision accordingly, right? So this pattern or this kind of a things, capability is not present among the machines, right? I'm calling them machines. And we are trying to inculcate artificially, means it is not inborn there, like the human being, they are inborn with this kind of a capability. And we are trying to inculcate, we are trying to lend the brain to the machines, and that is called as artificial in common layman terms, right? So as per the capabilities, guys, as per the capability, there are the three major categories which are there present in the AI, right? So AI could be a software, AI could be a embodiment like hardware, right? Software means virtual assistant, image recognition, like using the smartphone, you are able to unlock your device, right? Or speech to text, like when you're talking and it is able to understand the command, speech to text and other facial recognition system, right? So this kind of a software, AI could be a software, could be an embodiment like robots, drones, IoT things, or autonomous cars. So where in hardware it is using in the background, so this kind of a softwares, right? But what are the categories then? Based on the types of the work the AI algorithms are doing, they are categorized into three major categories. One is called as narrow AI. Okay. The first one, the first one is called as narrow AI. And we'll try to understand what is the difference between narrow AI or weak AI. Then there will be a second category called is artificial general intelligence or general artificial intelligence. Okay. And there will be a third category, which is called as super AI. Okay, super AI. So let's try to understand what is narrow AI, AGI, and what is super AI. And especially talking about the AGI, okay, this is where nowadays GenAI is trying to land. So GenAI is trying to belong to this category nowadays, and they're trying to prove their capability, right? So let's try to understand what is the difference between them, right? So in order to understand the difference, let's simply try to understand what are the tasks they are able to perform, and based on the task, we can bifurcate. So weak AI means what? They lack the ability to think and make the decisions just like the human being. So means what? So they can perform the tasks, but very specific tasks, very limited tasks, which are performed by the human beings, right? So now what is exactly happening here is they are not able to think or make the decision on their own. They are just trained on specific category of the task, specific task. What could be such specific task? So I will give you the example. And beyond that task, if you try to tell them or perform any action, they will not be able to perform, even not able to understand what they have to do, right? So what are the such category? Very simple example, our Apple Siri, the virtual assistant, right? Virtual assistant Apple Siri. So if you tell Apple Siri, it can, by giving the voice command, it can call someone, it can send the message, it can open an application, or let it be a Alexa, right? Amazon Alexa, it can play the song, it can go to the YouTube and everything, right? So, but this kind of a categories where they are not able to understand completely, but they have a specific task they are trained upon, right? Specific task like voice commands. So beyond that voice command, if you tell Alexa, right, okay, can you perform the emotion analysis? It will not able to perform emotion analysis. If I try to give her some text or try to give her some kind of a speech, it will not be able to understand what emotion lies there, right? So this task cannot be performed. If I try to converse in the human language with the Alexa, it will understand only certain things, but it will not be able to perform question answering. Like if I ask them general knowledge, if I ask other things, if I ask to summarize the text, this kind of a category will not be present, right? So this is what the weak or narrow intelligence talks about, right? Narrow AI. All right. So then once we understand what is narrow AI, then what is AGI? And AGI, especially guys, AGI is the arena which we going to achieve or aid to achieve, right? Aid to achieve means we are on the verge of achieving it, AGI. So what is AGI then? Second category. AGI is now here in the AGI, we are having this application just like the Chat-GPT or GenAI kind of application. Now you'll obviously say that, "Hey, no, guys, I'm not using AI to write on screen. I'm writing on my own. Okay. So awesome. Yeah, I'm not using it. So guys, what is general artificial intelligence or AGI arena is called option. Okay. Now, what is happening is as compared to the weak AI or narrow AI, where we have a limited capability, now the capability has been increased and they are trying to perform, think, and then making the decision like the human being. So what could be such example? What could be such example? Okay. Such example is like ChatGPT. So, or self-driving cars, right? Or legal expert Ross, AI attorney. Okay. So let's take example. Or they are even created they are created a humanoid robot, which is a AI professor. Okay. AI professor, or you might have heard of this robot, Sophia, right? Sophia, Amica, this kind of a humanoid robot where they are able to receive the information. They are able to receive the information. They can process the information just like human being. They can think it and they can make the action on it, right? Just like copying and as par with the human being. So they are able to make the decision, right? Likewise. So let's take what is the full form? Yeah, correct, guys. AGI is artificial general intelligence. Okay. Artificial general intelligence. So guys, what could be such example? Self-driving car, because self-driving car is not a mere simple task, right? So here we need to have a human brain functionality, right? Like you need to take the decision. All of a sudden, if someone comes in, right? How to drive? You have to follow the rule. You have to understand the things. What rules to follow, where to drive. So there is a lot of complicated tasks which you need to perform in order to drive a car, right? Or let's take the example of this one, right? A Harvard professor, which they have created. Now they have created a humanoid robot, right? Humanoid robot, right? They have created humanoid robot, which will be called as AI professor. And this AI professor is completely trained on the books, hundreds of books, right? Let's say, imagine the same example that they are trained on the all the hundreds or thousands of books of the AI, and they are trying to teach now. They have a capability. They have a audio capability and video capability, right? They can recognize the voice command and they can deliver the speech. They can deliver the speech, and how they are delivering the speech based on text to speech, right? So whatever the question will be asked, they will be able to answer your question, and they will be able to deliver the topics, right? Whatever the topics or syllabus, whatever the courses are there, they will be able to deliver the courses because we are already feeding the text data inside that, and using text to speech, they are able to deliver. And in between, someone asks any question, so that question, just like the ChatGPT, you ask any question, it will be able to fetch the information and give you the result, and that result will be converted from text to audio, right? So this kind of a capability is called as AI professor that they are trying to implement in Harvard, right? So post this curriculum, they are trying to implement this kind of a thing. So this kind of example, or let it be a AI attorney, right? Where the AI attorney will be replacing our virtual judge who will be able to take the decision if someone breaks the law, right? Someone breaks the law. So law has to be not ambiguous, obviously. They cannot perform the ambiguous task, but at least they can perform class black and white, like Chitti movie. Yeah, correct, sir. Like that. But that Chitti movie will fall into super AI because they decided that they will rule the humanity and they are far superior from the humans, right? So that is the third category now. So hope everyone understood what is AGI. And now we are trying to live in the AGI arena, guys, because Chat GPT kind of application where they can understand human language, they can take the action in the human language or perform or communicate between the human languages, right? So this kind of application, self-driving car, GPT, Chat GPT, AlphaGo, or the humanoid robot, they are falling into AGI category. And there is something called as super AI. What is super AI? Actually, where the machines or the AI will try to surpass the human intelligence. They will be outperform the human, and they will be able to make a better decision and maker things or out of that, right? So I have not read the model name, but I will give you. I will research. Okay, so there is any AI tool which can takes the meeting from the team member as a manager and suggest for. Yeah, guys, there are a lot of tools you can search. There are a lot of tools. There is AI reader now. AI book is there. Microsoft Teams even has that meeting agent with them, right? So that you can utilize. Okay. So let's understand what is super AI. Super AI means, guys, where they're able to perform or outpass the entire human intelligence, right? Or what could be such example? I'm sure you guys might have seen now. Someone said like Chitti, right? Chitti in the robot movies. So, or could be you might have seen Terminator movie, all of them, then Skynet, or let's take the example Iron Man movie, right? In Iron Man movie, there is something agent called as Jarvis, right? You can literally talk to Jarvis just like the human being, and he's able to perform awesome tasks, right? Let it be a quantum mechanics, let it be a design, let it be a auto command set, or wherever it is able to provide the suit, it is able to provide the location, it is able to create the entire architecture, physics, quantum mechanics, everything. You name the things, and the Jarvis is able to help you out there, right? So designing, implementation, commands, right? Or even it will be a life severe for you where it is sending the suit for Iron Man suit to Iron Man, right? To specifying the location and everything, just like the virtual human being, right? So this kind of a categories, right? Where they are planning to outpass the or surpass the entire human intelligence. They are far better than human. So that kind of capabilities are called as super AI. Hope everyone understood now to what is AI, weak AI, AGI, right? So guys, what do you think like the model like Gemini, right? ChatGPT, where it will fall? Just to test your knowledge that we are on same page. What do you think? Which category the ChatGPT kind of application, Gemini kind of application will fall? AGI, AGI. Awesome, awesome. I think I am not boring you guys, so you are able to understand everything, right? Okay, guys, so let's rub these things and let's try to understand now formally. So if everyone, yeah, awesome, guys. Thank you, guys. Thanks for your response. Let's try to understand now what is the difference between now generative AI and the narrow AI and other AI category. Very quickly, within 2 minutes, I will give this example because I don't want to waste time. You want to focus more on the other things like prompt and other things. What is prompt? How to write this correct prompt and other things by using the prompt. How can we build a simple model? So guys, when I'm trying to talk about the AI is in the entire arena, right? So within the AI, there is an intersection which is called as generative AI, and there is an intersection called as narrow AI. So you already know that what is narrow AI, right? So narrow AI is nothing but has a limited capability. Now, guys, everyone is a bit confused. So when we talk about this kind of things, right? So what is the difference between no, no, guys, it is called as artificial general intelligence, right? Even though this is JI, it's no, it is artificial general intelligence or general artificial intelligence. The either way, okay? Okay, guys, yeah, yeah. You will get a recording later. Yeah, yeah. Let's try to focus, okay? So, guys, when I'm trying to talk about the AI has two capabilities, okay? Let me hide the things. AI has two categories, okay? So one category of AI is ML, one category is deep learning. We'll try to understand what is the difference between machine learning, deep learning. Yeah, I will talk about it, guys. Don't worry, Vishal. I will talk about it. Okay. So let's try to understand what is machine learning different from the deep learning. All are the subtopics of the AI, right? AI, everyone knows that AI is something called as making the system intelligent, less like the human being, and try to perform the task, right? So within that, there are categories, something called as subcategories called as machine learning, and even machine learning category is deep learning. So let's try to understand what is the difference between all of them, right? So if I'm trying to talk about okay, if I am trying to talk about guys, let's imagine this way. Okay, so if I am trying to talk about the category, okay, so the category which is called as machine learning and which is called as deep learning, so how they are different from each other, and then how the Gen AI is fitting into this entire picture, right? We'll try to understand this. Let's try to understand. In order to bifurcate that, there are two parameters which we'll use. One is data and one is the algorithm. I'll write it shortcut algo. So what data is used and what algorithms are used, based on that, we'll try to make a difference, okay? We'll try to make a difference between them, machine learning and deep learning. So guys, when I'm trying to talk about the machine learning, okay? When we're trying to talk about the machine learning uses mostly the structured data, okay? On that shortcut, structured data. And the algorithm which they will be using are most of the statistical algorithm for the pattern recognition. The algorithm will be something called as y equal to mx plus c, okay? Mx plus c. Okay, so structured data means what? Simply, the structured data means the data which can be fitted into rows and columns, right? Any data, any kind of a data which I can fit into the rows and columns, right? Rows and the columns, that data will be called as our structured data. What could be example? Spreadsheets, tables, right? Excel files, flat files, or spreadsheet, fat file, text file, or spreadsheet or some text file. So this kind of a file where I can fit in into the rows and columns of the data. So that file will be called as structured data, right? Mostly the structured data. But when we talk about deep learning, guys, deep learning uses something called as unstructured data. Okay, something called as unstructured data. So what could be the unstructured data? Unstructured data which cannot be fitted into rows or columns. What is such data? Video, audio, right? Text data, images. So this kind of a data or sequential data. A sequential data is sometimes also used, right? So this kind of a data is used by deep learning. A structured data is used by machine learning. Unstructured data is whenever we have unstructured data like videos, audios, like video recognition, text recognition, face recognition, right? So segmentation, classification, recognize object detection, object segmentation, or human pose detection, right? So you might have seen in nowadays in the gyms, right? They have put in something called as human pose detection algorithm, right? Why they are putting human pose detection algorithm? I'll give you example, right? If you go to any high-end gym, right, where they're using AI enabled gym, right? This is one of the example how AI is, right, impacting our life. So this pose estimation algorithm, they will try to create a skeleton of yours, right? And there will be a big screen in the gym. So let's imagine you are trying to lift a dumbbell, right? So you are trying to lift a dumbbell. I know it's very funny picture, but let's imagine this way, right? You are trying to lift a dumbbell, and this is how the entire image will appear, skeleton image. And then in this image, guys, it will be displayed on the large screen, and they will try to give you the pose. Okay. So whatever the dumbbell you are trying to lift here, whatever the exercise you are doing, are you doing the correct posture or not? Okay. So they will give you, like, if you are lifting like this way, so whether this the angle of the posture is correct or not, whether you are doing the correct posture or not, this will be completely detected, and your face will be detected like this is Vikas. So they will try to capture you, Vikas, and this is what they will try to showcase you in high-end gym, right? Now, literally, they are implementing this kind of a technique. By using the human pose estimation, they will be able to find out your skeleton position, like how you are trying to perform the skeleton, and based on that, what action you are performing. Let's imagine if you're trying to lift the dumbbell and try to perform this kind of action, right? So they will try to, rather than every person, like the gym person, trainer, going beyond everyone. So there will be cameras, they will capture and tell you, Vikas, okay, this is the posture you are doing correct or wrong, right? So this way, you are getting personalized virtual trainer, right? Personalized AI trainer. So which will guide you whether you are performing correct exercises or not, right? So this could be one example where the deep learning algorithms are performing the task, right? So these are the unstructured data, right? Let me rub these things here. I hope now you are able to understand, okay, what is unstructured data and what are could be certain example like autonomous driving cars. You have to find out the obstacle, you have to segment the things, right? Which is tree, which is path, which is vehicle, right? So all these kind of things will come into that, right? So when I'm trying to talk about algorithm, let's take this simple example. In order to predict the BMI number, right? So let's take the machine learning algorithm. They are using something called as y equal to mx plus c, right? So in y equal to mx plus c, right? Very quickly, give me the example. We have to cover a lot of topics. So here the x is something called as input, or it is called as variables, which you are passing here, input variables, right? Features. This is called commonly as feature. Y is called as our target variable, a target variable which you need to predict, right? And m and c are the parameters. Yeah, I know it is a straight line equation. M and c are slope and intercept. These are unknown to us, right? These are unknown to us. What happens is, let's imagine you want to predict the BMI. BMI is body mass number. So number could be anything, right? So let's imagine my BMI number is 25, right? So in order to predict that, I will be passing input. Input will be x, right? What could be the input? X could be, cannot be one. X could be from x1 to xn, right? So multiple things will be there. So what happens is, let's imagine you are passing age, you are passing your weight, you are passing your height, and you are passing your gender. Okay, this information you are passing, this will be called as X. And based on this X, which will be fitted here, you will be able to predict Y. Y is BMI number, right? So they will try to find out the optimizer algorithms here. There are algorithms called as gradient descent, which will try to implement this kind of a things, right? In 3D. So they will try to write here the error. So here will be the M, here will be the C value, and they will try to perform this graph that what value M and C, your error will be zero, right? So error should be zero, and such optimal value, they will try to find out iteration by iteration, and they will try to fit it the value of M and C here, okay? The value of M and C will be fitted, and based on that, they'll try to predict the BMI. Let's imagine they predict the BMI, and initially they will try to take the random values. They will put it all the information of the height, weight, age, and gender, this combination, and they will try to predict. Let's imagine they predicted 30, but actual BMI is 25, right? So they will be calculating something called as loss, which will be like actual minus predicted rate, actual minus predicted. So this will be like 25 minus 30. So the loss will be 5. And our entire aim is to make the loss as 0, right? So this kind of equation, okay, this kind of equation is called as machine learning, where we are taking structured data, we are fitting into it, iteration by iteration, we are trying to predict the things, we are trying to find out the pattern in the data, correct? So everyone, I think, understood what is machine learning. But when it comes to deep learning, guys, when it comes to deep learning, now I already told you that deep learning focuses majorly on the audio, video, text, image data, right? So what could be such example and what algorithm they are using? Okay, there are a supervised algorithm, unsupervised algorithm, clustering algorithm, which are used by the machine learning things. Okay, but now let's try to understand. When I'm trying to talk about the deep learning data is unstructured one, and they are using something called as y equal to wx plus b. Okay, this is the equation they're using. What is wx plus b? Same way. Now here x wx plus b. Now w and b are called as weights and biases. Biases and the weights which they are trying to learn here. These are the model parameters. Okay, these are called as parameters, and based on this parameter, they will try to predict the things. And x is our input, obviously. So what is happening here? You might have seen in the deep learning, they are using something called as neural networks, right? Neural networks. So there are three categories. Why I'm telling you? Because this is basics is very important, guys. Once you Dr. Watson, okay, that guys, Dr. Watson will fit into the narrow AI because they have a limited capability. Okay, not a AGI kind of a thing. Okay, so guys, so they are using something called as neural networks. So I'm sure you guys might have seen this kind of a diagram, right? So let me draw the diagram and let me show it to you. Okay, so this kind of a neural network diagram, right? Circle kind of a diagram you might have seen. Okay, let me rub the things and write it in proper way, so you guys will be able to understand. Now, guys, let's try to understand what we are exactly trying to understand. We are trying to understand the difference between machine learning, deep learning. Machine learning uses the structured algorithm. They are using this kind of a statistical algorithm in order to perform the prediction. We have seen the example of BMI. Now, when we try to talk about deep learning mostly uses the audio, text, image, audio, video data, right? And they are using this kind of a equation of the neural network in order to understand the weights and biases. What are weights and biases? These are parameters. How they try to learn. So let's try to take the simple diagram out here, right? So this I am trying to create one simple artificial neural network diagram here. Okay. So this is the diagram you guys might have seen here. Okay. So here, guys, these circles are connected to each other, cross section. Okay. And these circles are connected by each other. They are creating the network of the neurons. These are called as neurons in the biological term. But when we try to talk about artificial neuron, they are called as perceptron. Okay, they are perceptron because they are not the neuron, actual biological neuron. They are artificial neuron, and they are connected to each other. Now, what happens is here we are passing our data, right? So there we are passing x1, x2, x3, all your input. So this is called as our input layer. Let me change the color of this pane. Okay, so there will be first layer which will be called as input layer. So this first layer which will augmentate our information. Then there will be in between layers. Okay, these in between layers are there. So in between layer are called as hidden layer. Okay, which will process the information. They will take first layer, input layer just passes the information. Hidden layer perform all the processing of the information, and there will be something called as then output layer, which will be able to give us a y hat, our prediction. Okay. So this is a simple neural network architecture which I'll try to show you. This is called as artificial neural network, ANN. This is one of the category, okay, ANN. So there will be one more category which is called as convolution neural network, CNN, and there will be a third category of neural network which is called as RNN, recurrent neural network. Okay, so these are the basic neural network which are available. This looks like the same. Somewhat architecture difference will be there, and they are able to process the information. How the image and audio data will be fitted? This audio, image, and video data will be converted into this kind of a matrices, number matrices, and they will be processed to it. And what is there? So this thin line which you are able to see through which they are connected, these are called as weights. And the biases will be there, right? Obviously, the biases. And by using these biases, they will be able to predict the things or recognize the images. And this is how the entire algorithm works in the deep learning, right? So what is the main takeaway? What is the main takeaway? In the deep learning, we have three categories of neural network. One is called as ANN, artificial neural network, which mostly process the structured data and the tabular data. The CNN, convolution neural network, which is processing the image data, extracting the image, videos, audios, and performing that, right? So this kind of a image data. And there will be third category of algorithm, which is very important, which is called as recurrent neural network. Okay. Recurrent. Okay. neural network, recurrent neural network, guys. Okay. So recurrent neural network, this is the third category of data, which is called as mostly RNNs. So this RNN, what they does is they try to process the text data or sequential data, time series related data, right? So this is where the entire the generative AI coming into picture, right? Generative AI will have two categories. Now I'll tell you, I am trying to give you the basics, guys. I am trying to connect the dots, like how we are able to understand what are the algorithms and how the things are coming up. So this recurrent neural network data, they are found to perform the task, text related tasks, sequential data related tasks. Sequential data related task means time series related task, right? So where we have to predict the stock prices, we have to predict anything in the future, sales or something like that. Now, since I told you there are three category of algorithm, RNN are the base. Okay, this recurrent neural network, they are the base for the generative AI, because whatever the algorithm which are used in the generative AI, they are the complex RNN architecture, right? Complex RNN architecture. And just to give you example, okay, just to give you, I think everyone is comfortable, guys. Everyone able to follow how the things are evolving. Now we are trying to talk about the generative AI now, right? In the generative AI, so the generative AI has a background of the RNNs, right? Okay, I think, yeah. So RNN, but we are not taking simple RNN, since RNN is able to process the sequential data, text related data, right? So these are the basics for the GenAI, because what is generative AI? Generative AI, I will simply try to tell you in the next slide that what is generative AI, how it is different from the traditional AI with the one simple example, but try to understand generative AI means trying to generate something. We are trying to generate either context, we are generating something called as text, we are generating image, or we are generating video, or we are generating audio. Something generation is happening. So that is called as generative AI. Now, just to tell you in the layman's term, but there are two categories of the generative AI. One category is belonging to the language related tasks, right? Text related tasks. And the second category, which is called as large language model. Okay. Large language model which are famously called as LLM. Okay, LLM. Now they are trying to talk about the human languages, human interaction. Okay, and there will be second kind of a model, LLM. Apart from LLM, there is something called as LVM. Okay, now they are called as large vision model. Large vision model. So what are the large vision model? They are able to deal with the video generation. Okay, video generation. They are able to generate the images. Okay, generate the images. They are trying to generate the audio. So there are two category, two capability in the GenAI. One is language capability, where we are trying to deal with the human language, and there will be something called as vision category. So vision category, where you are trying to generate the images, audio, video, these kind of things, right? So for these are not models, guys. Try to understand. LLM, this is the approach, large language model, and LVM. So these both are the basic backbones of the generative AI. So whenever you try to generate any text, so that will be a LLM's job. Whenever you try to generate any image or video, right? So that will be LVM related job. Now coming back to the model. So what are the basic or prominent model which are used, right? In LLMs, we are using something called as GPT models. Okay, GPT model. So these are GPT model means they are something called as generative pre-trained transformer. Generative. So the word generative, because they are generating, they are pre-trained means they are trained on the huge amount of the data, pre-trained, and the transformer. Transformer is the basic architecture. So transformer is nothing but the algorithm, guys. Okay, our architecture, which is coming from the RNN only, recurrent neural network only. That's the reason I gave you this entire example, right? So transformer. So transformer has the capability something called as attention mechanism. Okay. So what was happening is basically they have something called as recurrent neural network. So recurrent neural network, when we trying to pass the lot many sentences, it was not able to understand the context. Context in the sense it is not having any memory or something like that. So they came up with something called as LSTM model, which has a memory, long short-term memory. But still, when it comes to the large data of the text, it was not able to handle. And that's why they gave a birth to our architecture, which is called as transformer, which has a something called as attention mechanism or self-attention. And attention is nothing but they are trying to relate the things or try to establish the relationship between the things, right? So if I'm trying to say that Virat Kohli is the first one, or Rohit Sharma is the captain of Indian team, he is to hit the triple century. When I'm talking about the Rohit Sharma, right? In the sentence, Rohit Sharma, captain of Indian team, right? So this for me, captain of Indian team, it is very simple for me to understand that he's captain of cricket team, right? And when I'm talking about the he word, that means he word talk about the Rohit Sharma only. But this kind of a complex example, when I'm trying to pass this RNN LSTM network, even though has the memory component it, they were not able to understand. They gave a birth to a model called as transformer, and that transformer then they tried to complicate the transformer and they created various architecture which is called as BERT model, bidirectional transformer, P5 model, right? GPT-1, GPT-2, GPT-3, GPT-4. Now they are creating all this kind of a model. Now they are called as now the backbone, or these are the algorithm which are used in the generative AI. All right. So everyone now understood, I guess. So let's quickly go to the slide and try to understand how the generative AI talks about. Yeah, guys, I try to show the prompt also. So I will skip this one. So just quickly understand the capabilities, some example. So when I'm trying to talk about the narrow AI, virtual assistant, right? Email filtering, whether spam or not spam, social media algorithm, right? Or online shopping, you are getting recommendation algorithm, right? Fraud detection, voice recognition algorithm, image recognition algorithm, right? Language translation, which will be a part of generative AI, right? So this kind of a small category, or navigation prediction, right? So autonomous car, these are falling into. But when I'm trying to talk about generative AI, they are creating the content, right? Content creation, music creation, or chatbots. So chatbots are the great example of the generative AI, right? Where you are trying to perform any question and answer based on any topic or any particular knowledge base, right? Image creation, code creation, right? We are trying to write the code. We are just passing the text and we are trying to generate the entire code. Or art creation, voice creation, right? Gaming development, video creation, or this is the famous example, right? This is the example of the deep fake, right? We have seen. So we are passing some reference image, and based on that, they have created Rasmika Mandana's image, right? So this kind of a capability where we'll try to talk about something called as there are certain limitation and biasness. I hope now the generative AI is clear now how it is different from the normal AI, right? And these are the capabilities of the Gen AI. So let's take the simple example now. So by using this example, you will be able to understand. Let's take the normal or traditional AI or narrow AI, okay? Traditional AI or the narrow AI is called as discriminative AI as well, right? Discriminative AI. Okay, correct. So discriminative AI. So what happens is, let's take the example and how it is different from the Gen AI. Let's take the example. If I'm taking the one music, okay, one song, or 5 minutes of song, I'm taken 5 minutes of song. And let's take the example I have taken it from Spotify, okay? Spotify, I'm taking 5 minutes of song. I'm passing this to my traditional algorithm, like RNN, LSTM, GRU, this kind of algorithm, because they are dealing with the text related data, right? Audio related data. So in my traditional AI, discriminative AI, which is also called as, if I take a 5 minute songs for Spotify music, and if I pass this song as an input to my model will be able to process the thing. And what is the output I'll be getting? I will getting a category. I'm not creating anything new. I'm getting the simple category that whether that song belongs to rock, classical, or romantic, what category it belongs to, right? So this is traditional or discriminative AI. But at the same time, if you try to take the same input, same music of 5 minute song, which you have spotted from the Spotify, and passing to this kind of a model, GPT, right? Generative Adversarial Network, they are using for the image and other things, right? So GPT model, D5, BERT model, right? So this model, so what the output they will be giving you, rather than just giving you the discrimination, what category they belong to, they will create a new music. Just like the DJ people does, right? They take the original music, they do something here and there, and they create an entire new music, right? The music version. So same way, the generative AI will try to generate a new music. So, okay, that is the basic difference between generative AI. And how to find out if your output is a class probability category, then that is not a generative AI. But when you passed any kind of input, and based on that input, whatever the text, image, audio, you created new image, new text, new video, new audio. So that will be a generative AI, right? Generative AI techniques. And we have seen what are the example of generative AI. Text summarization, especially the large language model, right? So large language model, text summarization, I will talk about this one. Okay, so when I'm trying to talk about the large language model and the prompt, now we'll try to understand prompt. We'll try to talk about also certain limitation and biasness, okay, very quickly. And I have to also show you guys this kind of a things, right? So then what exactly is the large language model? Large language model is that they are trying to deal with the languages, human languages. That means they are trying to deal with the text data, right? And why they are called as large? Because let's imagine whatever data is present, okay, whatever data present on the internet, Wikipedia, and other sources, which is billions of data, huge, not billions, the zettabytes of data. So one zettabyte equal to 10,000 GBs, right? So this kind of a huge data. 10,000 GB of data, right? So this kind of a huge data they are exposed upon. So that is why they are called as large, and they are dealing with the language. That's why they are called as language model. So these are the LLMs. Okay, so LLMs are used for the natural language related data, right? And they have billions of parameters, right? I told you, like Llama, this is based on 30 billion parameter, Mistral 10 billion parameter, 20 billion parameter, right? Parameter, like I shown you, weights and biases and other things, y equal to mx plus c, these are called as parameters. So that many parameters they are trying to run, that many calculation they are trying to perform, right? So that is why they are called as large language model. And to train them, it took like around 3 years to train the Llama 2 and Llama 3 model for them. So that's the reason it is not very easy to train this kind of a model, right? So you understood now what is a large language model. So what are the use cases? The chatbots. You are writing any article, blog generation, blog summarization, right? You're trying to summarize any text. You're trying to perform language translation from English to German, German to English, French, some other, right? You are writing, just passing the text and you're able to generate the code. Or you are trying to perform information retrieval. Information retrieval means you are passing one book or information of the data. You are asking question, it will be able to exactly find that information within that document and give you back the answers, right? So that is called as information retrieval. So this kind of use cases, the large language model deals with it, and that is large language model, the backbone for the Chat-GPT kind of application, right? So these are the capability of Chat-GPT application. All right. And what are prompts then? What are prompts? Prompt, guys. Prompt is nothing but everyone is now going behind the prompt engineering. Prompt engineering, one of the esteemed job, right? Where people are able to get a 3K, 3,000K, like 3K dollars, 300K dollars, right? 300K dollars of salary. So what is prompt engineering? Prompt engineering means the way you are asking a question to the GPT or kind of a large language model is called as, or a query. The query using which you are performing a conversation with the LLMs is called as prompt now. Simply asking the question, right? Like we have a tables. So in order to take the information from the table, what we are passing SQL queries, right? So same way, a large language model holds the entire information. You want to extract the information, you have to pass the prompts. Okay. So that is the prompt. And in prompt, we will have different categories. One is called as zero shot prompt, right? Zero shot prompt. There are prompt learning techniques, zero shot. There is something called as one shot, right? One shot, and there is something called as multiple shot, right? Multiple shot, one shot, zero shot, multiple shot prompting. What this example means, zero shot means without giving any example, right? So zero shot means whatever data trained upon, without giving any specific example, they will be able to perform the task. And one shot means we are giving one example. Okay. And then multi shots means you are giving 2 to 3 examples, then asking your large language model to perform that task. Okay. Yeah, guys, this topic I would love to do that, but guys, this since we have very limited time, so it will be difficult. But I'll try to give you the basic agenda of this topic is to give you the overview and the tools and techniques. Okay, so everyone is aware like what is prompting technique, what are zero shot, one shot means you are giving example. Let's say I like the movie. Okay, I like the movie. This is one example I'm giving to my prompt, right? So one example I'm giving, I'm saying this is positive sentiment. Then the next time, if I say I hate this movie, right? So obviously this belong to negative. I don't have to explicitly give this example. I've given only one example, or without giving any zero example, my large language model is performing the job. Okay. So these are called as one shot, few shot, couple of shot learning and prompting techniques. Okay. So let's move ahead, guys. Let's move ahead and try to understand the tools and technique and biasness also. So these are certain categories. I will leave it up to you. The presentation, like we have seen, let it be image, medical imaging, let it be art and creativity, or personal recommendation system. Like personal recommendation system by using the Gen AI, very simple example, right? So by using traditional AI and Gen AI, like by using traditional AI, you are getting personalized recommendation, right? Whatever shopping you are doing, that is the traditional AI. But in Gen AI, what will happen? So you want to try any shirt, right? Any shirt or any t-shirt you want to try, you will just pass your picture, okay, face picture, and or a 3D estimation. So whatever the t-shirt you want to try, right, t-shirt or jeans or get try, based on your image or picture, it will fit in that entire picture of yours. It will generate a new image. Okay, that image you are wearing, actually that shirt piece or jeans, and how you will look like, that kind of image will be get generated, and based on that you can take the decision whether you want to buy or purchase this product or not, right? So this kind of a category will be impacting the entire e-commerce sector going forward. So rather than going and making the trials, you are making a virtual trials, and then you are deciding whether you want to buy this product or not, right? All right, guys, before we go into the tools and techniques which I wanted to show you, one last example we want to take about the biasness and ethics, and then I will give you lens card. Yeah, same like lens card. Rather than going there and trying, you can virtually try. You can give your face, then it will fit it, right? So this is Gen AI. That's how the industry will get impacted, right? So guys, ethics and biasness is very important, and that is why everyone is now trying to focus on the things, right? That's why European Union has came out the AI regulation and other things, right? So what is the one concern? So there could be concern like the deep fake, right? When we are able to generate the things, or even you might have heard that people got the call that their daughter is caught somewhere, please send the money, and that was the fake call which is created using the deepfake, right? Or you are passing one image and people are creating the different image, like Rashmika Mandana's case, right? So which was morph image by you created using the generative adversarial network, right? So these are certain limitation or some unethical issues which are present. But let's take one simple example. Let's what could be the biasness and ethics come into picture, right? So if you're driving any autonomous car, right? If you're driving any autonomous car and that car hits with someone, right? You meet with an accident. So at that time, guys, there is a responsibility in ethics come into picture, right? So if you're driving Elon Musk car, right? Tesla car. So at that time, if we meet with the accident, who will be put into the charges, right? Will be put in the bar? Whether the car owner, whether the person who's created the AI software, or the person who tested this AI software, right? Tester, QA, or the owner of the company, right? Elon Musk, who should be put into bar, right? Behind the bar, who should be charged with it. So these are certain responsibility is not fixed, right? When you are using this autonomous car, now if something goes wrong, who is there to take the responsibility, right? So who will make sure that things are not going wrong, whether the car owner, AI engineer, test engineer, or the Elon Musk owner of the car, right? So these are certain challenges which are still not resolved. That's the reason every company want to enforce this, but with the person driving the car, right? So per person is not driving anyone; it is driven by AI. So you cannot put AI; it's a virtual thing into the bar, right? So these are certain example, or let's take the example. Okay, let's take the example that you are creating one resume shortlister application. Okay, resume shortlisting application using the AI, right? So at that time, let's imagine what it does is it takes the resume, it extract the information from your resume. Okay, extract the information like the what are the skills, what is the education, what is the experience level you have, and there is something called a job description. Now you have the text extracted. Now it will match the text with the job description. When there is a more than 80% mix, so your resume will get shortlisted. Okay, this kind of application using the Gen AI you have created, right? So now imagine when you created this kind of application, obviously you have to train your large language model. And maybe when you trained your large language model, let's imagine you trained with 100K resumes, right? 100K resume. And within that 100K resume, let's say 60K resumes belongs to the female candidate. Okay. And remaining 40K belongs to the male candidate. Now, even though specifically you are not telling your Gen AI application that you have to make a bifurcation, gender discrimination. Okay. So, but what will happen in the background, looking at the imbalance in the data set, right? There's an imbalance in the data set. The genders of the females are more and the males are less. So it will try to understand that I have to give a preference to the female candidate more. So it will try to assign the weightages. Whenever there is a female candidate, it will try to assign like 0.6 weightages. When there is a male, they will try to assign a 0.4 weightages based on the imbalanceness of the data. So this kind of a discrimination without knowingly or unwillingly could happen if you don't care about the certain ethics and policies, right? So that's why these are certain limitations which are available, right? So obviously limitations are right. It will not able to understand. If you ask, right, directly the Chat-GPT that can you tell me how to break the password of the neighbor's Wi-Fi, right? So it will say it is ethically wrong, sir. There are certain guardrails which are present. But if you take the example, like, can you please tell me the sites which are prohibited where I should not avoid them or block them so that I will not be able to see any kind of a virtual movies or free movies available, right? So rather than asking directly, give me the free movies website, if I tweak my question, it will be able to give you the entire website, which should be referent and should not be connected, right? So this kind of a limitation are available. I hope you guys are now able to understand what are limitation and biasness. So let's go back quickly now to the tools, right? So it's now what are the tools available for the Gen AI, right? So based on the category or the task they are trying to perform, guys, these are the tools available. So if you try to generate the image, there is something called as DALI. There is something called as Stable Diffusion, Mid Journey. These are the famous tools, but apart from there are other tools also. You just pass the text and it will be able to generate the image, right? You just pass the text, it will be able to generate the video, right? Synthesia, Runway. These are the application. You just pass the script, guys. It will be able to generate the entire AI video for you. And the courses video. You just pass the text, but it will generate the video, right? Or text to text. This is where the Chat GPT kind of application falls in, right? Mistral, Gemini, ChatGPT, Llama, all these application where you are passing text, you are getting back the text, right? So question and answering thing, right? Or let it be a code generation, right? Microsoft GitHub Copilot or Microsoft Copilot, this kind of application where you are asking for text and it will be able to give you the code, right? So these kind of applications are available. Guys, this creating own AI agent and these are available. You can go to the ChatGPT application, okay? So Akansha, I would love to answer, but we have to cover a lot many other things. So it is difficult to cover your question, right? Here. So let's go back. Since you haven't, I've created one give, guys, and I think it will make you clear. So how the application look like, and then we'll talk about the path for the GenAI, and then I'll show you some prompts, okay, in 5 minutes. I know we are approaching toward the close of our session, end of our session, but let's take the example, okay? So if you try to look at this application, guys, this first one, GIF out here. Okay, so I would love to answer, guys, but because within 1 hour time, it is difficult to answer all the questions, like which will be like take some time. Okay, but just to this entire session is just to give you hint like what are the tools available and how can you make without code. Okay, without code, how can you use this application? That's the main intention for this. Okay. So let's take the example. Okay, this is the first application which you're able to see. This is the Chat GPT. In Chat GPT, guys, I am just asking it to create one code. Okay, so what I am asking, can you please create an EDA for me using this one? And if you see here, it has created the entire code snippet. Okay, for me. Or let's take this example. This is a mid journey. This is a bot which has been implemented here. Okay, on this application. Yeah, guys, there are other tools also where available. You can use the Chat GPT in Excel also. There is something called as Microsoft Dynamic Copilot. Okay, by using the Copilot license, you can use Chat GPT application. Okay, there are certain tools also available where you can inculcate these tools in the Excel. Okay, so guys, this is the bot which is available. You just write the text and it will be able to generate the images based on that. And look at the speed, guys. It is creating within a minute. They are creating hundreds of images, right? So that fast that bot is. Okay. So able to create. So this is a mid-journey application, or this is the GitHub Copilot, guys. So what is happening? Let's take the use case. You join as a software engineer and there are legacy code created, which are hundreds and thousands of line of a code, right? So you'll not be able to understand within a go. So how can you increase your productivity? Put that code and ask GitHub Copilot, can you please explain me the code? This is the prompt I am writing here. Okay. Can you explain me the code for this code? Okay. And it is able to explain me line by line what this code does, what are the limitation, what are the things. Okay. So everything it is able to understand, it is able to create the things. Okay, that's how. And this is the good example, DALL-E 2. You put the image and you are writing the text, that monkey wearing a funny hat. So guys, taking that monkey image and it is trying to generate that kind of an image out here, right? So these are certain application. Okay, these are certain application. And let's go to the, now I'll skip few of the things, guys. This is the architecture, like how DALL-E 2 works. Like they send the, it is like the Pictionary game. One person draw the picture, other person gets the picture and it is able to perform the task, right? Like it is called as encoder decoder model. So this encoder decoder model, they have a reference image and then the text they get trained. And when the next time you try to write any text, it will be able to generate image. Okay, this kind of application lies. Okay, so we will talk about within a minute, and guys, within a minute we'll talk about this one, the path to become generative AI engineer. And I want to showcase you a couple of prompts. Okay, within 5 minutes, I'll show you the prompts, like how the prompts can make the difference while you write this kind of a things. Okay, guys, PPT always will be shared with the colleagues, guys. You can ask these colleagues, okay, from the skiller. They will provide you these PPTs, okay? Yeah, they will provide you PPT. Don't worry. So, guys, if you want to become a generative AI engineer, where to start? What are the basic things you need to learn? So, you need to learn, guys, Python basics, okay? Any programming language. Why Python? Because Python has all the implementation, latest implementation, all the packages and the libraries which are available for even from the Gen AI to traditional AI. Okay. Yeah, guys, you will get the recording. Okay. So that is the reason first you should learn Python and basic of the statistics, because most of the algorithm I told you in the machine learning works on the statistical equation, right? So you need to understand the statistical concept. Yeah, guys, you will get the recordings. Okay. So first you start with Python and statistics. Then I told you guys, either you can start with the algorithm of the machine learning or the basics. So there are supervised algorithm, there are unsupervised algorithm, okay, unsupervised, and there are clustering algorithm. These are the three main categories which you can learn. And then you can come back to the neural networks, okay. Then once you understand this, then you can come to the deep learning. You can go to the deep learning techniques where you can learn ANN, artificial neural network, and a couple of use cases like how by using the ANN you can handle the structured data and the image data. Okay, the basics of the ANN, like what is gradient descent algorithm, what is feed forward network, what is backward propagation, how the entire neural network works, what are the mathematics, everything you have to learn here. Okay, so once you are able to, Java language is not possible case because Java language do not support most of the practical implementation and the libraries. Okay, that's the reason Python is very famous out here. So Python, stats, then you have to learn the machine learning algorithm, basic algorithm, supervised, unsupervised. Then you have to cover this pillar, guys, artificial neural network, and some projects you have to perform. And within that, you have to learn PyTorch, library, Keras, and TensorFlow. These are the frameworks which are available. Okay. And once you understand, then you have to deal with the image data, audio data, video data, right? So where you have to learn no code AI means, guys, like ChatGPT kind of application, okay, where you directly write the text and it will be able to generate the code. So there are multiple things which are able to perform this kind of a tool. So that is called as no code AI. Okay. So it is especially for the people who don't know much of the coding. So that's the reason. Okay. Yeah, guys, you will get the PPT. Then, guys, you have to understand the convolution neural network, CNN. So in CNN, you have different model like LXNet, VGNet, then ResNet, this kind of model, object detection, object classification, okay, mask RNN, segmentation algorithm. And then comes the third player, the recurrent neural network. Recurrent neural network, you have to learn the advanced topic like BERT model, okay. BERT model, you have to learn something called as, let me rub these things. So in this third pillar, this is talks about the NLP's algorithm, okay, natural language processing algorithm, basics of NLP. Okay, then you have to understand RNN. From RNN, then there is something called as LSTM network, okay, LSTM, the GRU, then BERT model. And after the BERT model, guys, you will get a something called a GPT models, okay. So then from the GPT, you can understand the transformer architecture. These are what the GPT 3.4, these models are trained upon. And once you get trained, there is something called as LangChain and Llama index, okay, and Llama index. These are the framework, Llama index. These are the framework using which you can call the large language model. You can tie this model. You can create the agents and everything, or you can create a chat completion. These are the frameworks which you. So once you are able to through with this kind of a thing, guys, you will be able to become a generative AI engineer. At least you will be able to start the things because there are a lot of things to yet to learn. Okay. So guys, what are the careers available, okay, in the Gen AI? I will simply give you the example and then we can move to the prompts, okay? It is already the time, I can understand. So entry level people get around 60K to 90K. Mid-level people get 100 to 150K and senior level get $200K, okay? These are the salary. And what are some careers? Generative AI, research scientist, machine learning engineer, okay? Computer vision engineer, prompt engineer, where they are getting around $300K, okay, salary. So these are, or Gen AI engineer, okay, Gen AI. Nowadays, everyone is calling for the Gen AI engineer, okay. These are the some prominent career paths which we can get once you are able to learn these things, okay. Or AI product manager, AI solution manager, data scientist, okay, UI, UX, designer, AI content creation, NLP expert. These are certain prominent careers which you can achieve through it, okay. So guys, I hope you were able to understand these things. The last thing, prompt engineering also, guys, you have to start with the whatever the things I have told you. Then you can go to LangChain and other advanced topics which you'll be able to understand. Guys, now I know everyone is waiting for the practical relation. Let me quickly share my entire screen and let me show you a couple of prompts. Okay, within the 5 minutes we'll be able to finish this one. So let me share the entire screen with you guys and show you certain prompts. Okay, which are the prompts which are available and how we can create a code, at least one or two couple of example of how we can create a report summary. Okay. So let me show you this ChatGPT application, and within the ChatGPT, I'll give you some example. Okay. Let's take the example and how to write a prompt. I will give you certain tips also how to write the prompts rather than writing the simple prompt. And using the prompts, how can you generate the entire code? Whatever job it takes 1 week or 2 weeks a time, how can you perform that job within a couple of minutes or a couple of hours, right? How to perform this task. Let's imagine that whenever you write a prompt, that you have to write something called as context. So what is the context? What is the job you wanted to find out, and what is the data set you are dealing with, and what is the probable outcome you are expecting. These are the 4 things you have to write it. For this example, let's imagine I have taken this default data set, right, a banking data set, and how I'm writing the prompt and how I'm able to build a model without writing any code. I'm trying to build it. This is called as no code, guys. If you remember, someone was asking me how to, is this possible done with other than Python? Yeah, possible, guys, but Python, I would say Python is the preferred language because everywhere it is like used mostly, and it has all the implementation and the support for the community. Okay. So let's take the example, guys. I am having this credit default data set from the banking. And what I want to do is I want to first create a data analysis on this thing. What is my main objective? Data analysis on this thing. Then I want to build a report, a demographic report on this data. And third thing which I want to do using this thing is build a predictive model. Okay, build a predictive model without writing any code. Okay, build a predictive model. That model will be able to write a code for me, ChatGPT. Predictive model in order to predict whether the person is going to get a default or not going to get a default. And I want to create any report, demographic analysis report. This kind of a task I want to do perform here. Okay. So let's try to understand how can we do it. What I'm trying to write is you have to write specifically what exactly the context or the persona. It is called as persona also. What persona you want to create. Okay. So what I want to do is ChatGPT act as a banking expert because I'm writing the banking data here, right? So I'm writing that act as a banking expert. Now following is the credit default data set. Means you are giving a context also. The what is the context? The what data you are providing here. And then I'm writing the variable name like loan amount, whether the person is self-employed, what is the gender of the person, whether he's married or not married. Okay, what are the other education things, property, other features, all these features, I'm dependent, education. Okay, what is his monthly income, whether he's active or not active, this kind of a data I'm writing, and then I'm pasting couple of lines out here, right? So then I'm pasting, then what will happen, let's try to understand. Once I paste, so it will try to analyze the data and give you the result. Okay, what result it is giving here? Certainly you look like you have a data set with the loan status as an your target, because loan status default, this is what you have to predict based on the features. Now without writing anything, guys, I just written the name and it is able to analyze the data. What is the loan ID, gender, married, dependent, education, and other things. And now it is giving me that based on the data set, how you perform the data analysis, or you can build a predictive model on base of it, right? Guys, this is not that simple that you want to integrate any AI application. Okay, there are certain plugins by using which you can do it. Do you need a subscription or license for ChatGPT? Guys, you can create a free account, okay, which will get a free, Akansha, you can create a free account with your name. You will get a basic credit, but to use the GPT-4 and other like a DALI model and image generation model, you will require a credit, right? For this simple ChatGPT will not require. Even you can have a Gemini Pro. It is performing the same thing free, okay, with the free credits. Okay. All right, guys. So let's try to understand, guys. Let's try to understand. So I gave the example and it has given me, see here, it analyzed the entire data set. It told me that what is my output variable, what are my features. And based on this data set, and now it is able to tell me the steps. First, I have to perform the cleaning, then I have to perform a data analysis, then feature engineering, model building, evaluation, and interpretation. Now, next thing, what I want to write it is, okay, so I want you to act as an CA. What I'm writing here. I want you to act as a financial expert. Okay, thank you, guys. So let's try to focus within 2 minutes. I'll try to wrap up this session. It's a couple of prompts which can help you to create or write an entire code for you, okay, within a couple of minutes. So I want you to act as a financial expert and create a demographic analysis of the data and give me result in form of report, right? So most of the times you guys are asked to create a report, right? So rather than doing this tedious job, just paste that data like I have pasted here. Okay, and then write this prompt that can you please act as an expert and then perform demographic and write a context, what you the outcome you are expecting and what exactly the outcome you want to perform, right? So it has created an entire demographic analysis report for me. Even it has put in the numbers also, not only format, actual number, how many male, female there are, how many married, graduate, okay, dependent, independent, property address, rural, urban, self-employed, everything it has given, right? So last thing, like no code without you return, what I want to is I want to build a predictive model to predict the loan default. Like I already told him that loan default is my parameter to predict. And then I want to build a model to predict the loan default based on the available feature and provide a report for the same. See, it's just a simple prompt and very powerful and neat and clean. And the persona, like you can say, I want to act as a data scientist, okay? And I want to act you as a data analyst and perform this task. So I want to act as a data scientist, build a predictive model based on the feature and the provided data and also provide me the report. So see guys here, it has created the entire report. So it has imported the libraries, then it has imported the logistic regression model. It has imported the accuracy score, then it is creating the data frame, getting the data, then cleaning the data out here, right? So it is splitting the data, then calling this model, then fitting this model, and then performing this prediction, model.predict, model.fit, model.predict, then it is calculating the accuracy and printing all the accuracy, confusion matrix, and the classification report. Okay. And even he will suggesting if you want to fine tune this further, how can you write the thing? Or you want to write an email or you want to generate any report, you can also ask, like I ask most of times, right? Help me to write an professional email. I want to write it to this person to inquire about this topic and to then this application and provide me the entire plan detail. So it has created entire things, right? I just simple written, so it has created thing. Can you provide me the information, launch date, feature plan, pricing, support and maintenance? And we are excited about this, all these things, right? So, or you can even create a project plan. You can write at act as a project manager and write, please create a project plan for me. Based on this my project, I wanted to generate a chatbot, right? So it will create an entire project plan along with the prices and everything. Then you can take a piece and bits of it and you can ask it to explain further, right? All right, guys, I think you were able to understand like how to write the prompts. All prompts you have given is the same data set. Yeah, guys, only one data set I initially used and I've given all the prompts. Okay, then you can utilize the other data sets as well. Like I am using diabetic data set as well, right? Here on this, right? Credit card default data set or diabetic data set also, like this way. I pasted some other data set as well. Okay. So see this one. This is the diabetic data set I am posting. Okay. That was the previous one was the same thing. Yeah, guys, you can make the PPTs also. You can write the project report. You can create the report. You can write the emails. You can do the things. Okay. Everything you can do. Hope guys, you enjoyed these things. So couple of minutes, 1 or 2 minutes, I'll try to take. I know it's already late. So in chat box, you can give your comments like whether you like the session. I know most of things you want to do more practical implementation, like how can you include this Chat-GPT application, but that is not that simple, guys. You need to have certain understanding to inculcate this Chat-GPT kind of application. There are plugins available. You can call these agents in your application and make them available. Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you, Sundarya, Karan, Namrata. Shivanand sir, everyone, thank you very much. PPT I will share, guys. Don't worry. PPT I am sharing with SkillUp, guys. They will share with you. Okay. So hope you at least able to understand that what is the basic concept of Gen AI, how it is different from traditional AI, what is the AI algorithm, how to write the different prompts, what are the different tools available, what are the different application, and how it is going to impact, and what are the career path, and what you need to learn. Okay. Hope this, if you are able to learn these things, that will be more than sufficient for this, because in 1 hour, like we really try to cover all of these things, right? Okay. Okay, guys, looking at your one last thing, how can you, okay, reiterate the formation of prompt for the, okay, guys, you have to search like, like I told you, there are 4 things, but one is context, persona like a data analyst or data scientist or financial analyst. Context means what you exactly want to write, what is the output, you have to write very exact output, and then you have to write the data set. Okay, this way you can reiterate and write the correct prompt. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. Yeah, you can connect with me. Yeah, sure. Awesome. There are hundreds of prompt getting, I'm getting hundreds of chat, guys. So I'm just going through glimpse of it, but okay. So most of things recording, yeah, and recording will be provided. Okay, effective. Thank you very much, guys. Then, all right. So I hope that everyone enjoyed this session, and we can further create few more session on some practical session also. Yeah, persona, context, variables, and the fourth one will be the output, right? What is the output you are expecting? What format exactly? So you have to write in detail. Okay. Prerequisite, guys, I already told you what is the path. I told you there is no such prerequisite. Whatever path you can take, whatever path I explain, you can take that path and then you will be able to land up a job. But obviously it takes some example, right? So it takes some coding exercises and other things. You at least if you are able to do any project, so it will give you hands-on, then you can land up the jobs. Okay, you have to do projects as well, right? Creating one chatbot by calling this one things. All right, guys, then thank you very much. I will leave the session now. Hope you everyone enjoy. Looking at the feedback, I think everyone enjoyed. And good luck for your future. Okay. Bye, guys. Thank you very much.